business people, a lot of friends. At the time, I'm his mouse. He speaks no Chinese, even no thank you or how are you in Chinese. And I tried to, because at that time I'm still learning English, so I tried to survive, to translate what he wanted to express in English into Chinese, and to translate those Chinese into English. At that time, I think language is a tool. That's what a lot of people are thinking about. Yes, language is a tool, but language is beyond a tool. This morning, a gentleman sit by me. He said, what are you going to talk about? I said, I'm going to talk about this. And he said, oh, you're talking about translation or something. I should say yes, maybe no. If you think that's translation, yes, it's translation. But it's not just translation. So let me start with this. Now, language planning, it has some new idea. It's some kind of new research stream. But generally speaking, I should say it's a very interesting topic. That is why I wanted to say something here. Language planning, now what is it? Some people say language planning, it has much to do with foreign language learning or something. I should say yes. But language planning, actually, it's kind of language issue. Whenever you need language, wherever you meet language barriers, language planning is there. So would you please think of how important language is to us, even for international business. So my understanding is language empowers people and language empowers international business. The earlier you take language planning issue into consideration, the more likely you are going to be successful in the international market. Now in China, today there are about 440 joint ventures. Most of the language they use in those joint ventures are English. It seems to be a matter of course, but sometimes this has a lot of problems. Because not many Chinese people, not to mention Shanghai, this situation is better. But in some other part of China, some people, they cannot speak very good English. For example, if my boss tells me, you should do this, it's very likely that I will do that. So there will be a lot of problems. I know that there's a very big company in China, they lose one big contract because of the mistranslation problem. So this seems to me that we should take it into consideration. So as far as I'm concerned, I should say now we need to take language planning issue into consideration. The reason is, if you don't take it, it will be there. The language problem will be somewhere. It will never be a language issue. It will be a language problem somewhere waiting for you. So let me tell you what we should do. I think that language is the tool for communication. And some people say, oh, I can speak good language. Sometimes, yes, but behind language, there are many things. Language is not just some kind of words, no matter verbal or non-verbal. It's about ideology. It's about perspective. Sometimes it has much to do with your habit or your cultural background, anything, whatever you think, you name it, it is it. So I just want to tell you that now what we can do nowadays. In Shanghai, now we have Shanghai dialect. I don't know how many of you have heard of that. I will be the first one. If you have never heard of that, I will say something to you. In Shanghai, we say 侬好, hello, right? And 小家侬, thank you. 这位, goodbye. And please, 不想. So if you can some of that words in Shanghai to initiate your business with Shanghai local people, you are on the right track because you are going to build a rapport with your partners. And if you know more about Chinese language, that will be even better. In China, there are about 129 languages under 5 language families. Not to mention there are hundreds of dialects. It is really difficult for you to have a good mastery of one Chinese language or dialect. But now, you should think of that problem. I'm not promoting Chinese here. I think that it's ridiculous to say that everyone in China should speak Chinese. This is kind of a lack of confidence. But anyway, I should say that you have to think of that. In Shanghai, we have kind of recruitment policy. Now, in China, we have 2 systems of language testing. One is for the college students. One is for the English major students. For college students, they have CET 4 and CET 6. And for English majors, they have TAM 4 and TAM 8, test for English majors, Band 4 and test for English majors, Band 8. Now, test for English major, Band 8 seems to be too difficult. Sometimes it's, how to say, beyond reasonable testing, I should say, because even native speakers, they cannot do that. The test lasts one day, from 8 o'clock in the morning, then you have your lunch, then in the afternoon till 5 o'clock. You have to do listening, reading, and oral, and also translation, writing, or something. Now, if you can survive that test, you have the golden certificate to enter those, how to say, they have very high requirement of language proficiency. And in Shanghai, we also have another test that's kind of, we call it interpretation certificate. This test, now let me tell you, I'm the tester of the test. If in the morning, everyone have 15 minutes, they have to do one written test. The written test is really difficult. To tell the truth, I cannot get a high grade, maybe just a pass. Okay. Then they pass it, then they will do the oral one. The oral one, everyone have 15 minutes in front of you to test us. What you're supposed to do is to do interpretation. Give you listen to whatever topic, maybe economy, finance, law, maybe sports, psychology, sociology, whatever. Then you're supposed to listen to one passage for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. After that, do translation. First from Chinese to English, then from English to Chinese. There are 8 passages. After each passage, you will be given 2 minutes. Keep on speaking in Chinese or English, then you start. If you fail 3 of the 8, you fail the examination. Let me tell you the passage. Every day we have the test. I will have 15 in the morning and maybe 20 in the afternoon. Maybe only 1 will survive for the whole day. If you get that, okay, at least Shanghai companies who attach great importance to your language proficiency, English proficiency, they will do something like, okay, just come. Whatever you want, we'll give it to you. This is something really happens today. But I should say that's beyond language proficiency, right? So sometimes now, this tells us the importance of English, but also the importance of language planning. For every department in the company, I should think of that. For example, if you want to go into China to do business with Chinese people, are you going to send some American people who can speak Chinese, or you are going to recruit local people who can speak both Chinese and English, even dialect? Or if you wanted to start business in China, are you going to recruit interpreter or translators? What kind of translators or interpreters you are going to recruit? If you are going to do business with Chinese people, do you think that your language can be fully understood by them? If they misunderstood you, what would you do? If that a great loss to your business, what would you do? And if that loss is incurable, what would you do? You will pack and go back. So sometimes this is a problem that we have to think. As to me, this language planning in the field of business domain is quite new. But I should say it's really interesting because a lot of things can be dig into, and we need to do that. I'm not a business major. I know nothing about business. I'm just communication major, language major. But I think that there might be something we can do to narrow the gap between Chinese and English, between kind of misunderstanding, the cultural understanding. And also in Shanghai, we hope that with the internationalization of the metropolitan, there will be more people that can speak English. It's nothing uncommon. If you meet some very old gentleman or lady on the street of Shanghai, you ask them for direction, they will answer you English. But generally, I should say that you have to consider if you go to some different places in China. And also Chinese. Yeah, I have to say that if you can speak some Chinese, that makes things easier. So anyway, I have my PowerPoint, but I didn't follow it. If you are interested, you can email me and I will give it to you. But generally, I just raised an issue, and I hope that you can consider, especially those very important bosses. If you're going to do business in Shanghai, in China, think of that. As I said, language empowers you. The earlier you take language issues, language planning issues into consideration, the more likely you're going to be successful in China. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Before we go into the question, how about another round of applause for all?